Hi there, it's Karen here. Welcome back, and today we're going to be working, doing a little bit more work in our Literary Ladies journal. And what I mean by Literary Ladies is I've got kits where the ladies either read books, read letters or write letters. So it's all about reading and writing books and letters. So I just called them literary because that seemed to fit and made it a nice short title, that's all. So what I want to do today is do some more work on the cover, because I really want this to be quite lacy. It's beautiful as it is, but I want to make it more beautiful, if you can, if that's the case. I hope I manage that, by adding lace to it. And I also want an image to go down the front here. So I've got this bare bit of white, most of which probably won't show that much by the time we've wrapped it around. So I'm not sure yet what I should put on, but I do have this piece from one of my printed fabrics from the Medieval Mirage kit. And I thought I might sort of somehow cut around this to make it a focal point on the front. So we might do that in a moment. I think the first thing I want to do really is to edge this piece here where I've got this rough edge and it's starting to fray. So I want to add some lace to that. And I've got this piece of really lovely vintage lace that I bought, I think, when I was in Malvern. I think that's when I got it, but I'm not absolutely sure. Trips start to blend into each other after a bit, don't they, when you're buying stuff? So I think that's where I got it. I don't think I got it as long ago as when we were in Yorkshire, which is when I got some other bits and pieces from vintage shops. I think it's more recent. So I think I just want to maybe even go a bit higher, so that's actually covering up that bit of stitching. I don't know quite, because I need what I want to do is to stitch all of this lace onto my cover, and so I might just have to do it there, but I don't want it to make the cover tight. You see, if I do it too tight here, it might make the cover more difficult to fold. I think it'll be okay. So I'm just going to pin for today, pin things on, and then I'll stitch it all. Whether I stitch it in this video and come back to show you, I'm not sure. I'm still not sure about how far down to go. I think I might bring it a bit above that stitching there so it's not so visible. So I'll just pin that on. So I'm going to be able to stitch it that way or that way. So I'm going to want to stitch it. I've got to remember how I'm going to, the direction I'm going to sew. Oops. So I might put the pins the other way. Turn it up the other way so that my pins, being left-handed, go in that way, and then I can stitch and have this sticking out on the machine, on the open part, and not have it scrunched up inside. I don't know if I'm explaining myself. I'll stitch it on, I'll pin it on, and I'll show you what I mean. Right, so that's pinned, and what I want to be able to do is feed it through the machine like this, where this is the outside of the machine and this is the little area inside the machine where you want to feed it through. So I want to be able to have my pins facing the right way so I can pull them out as I go. So that's why I turned it around, but actually that's the top. Okay, so that's just the first section. Now I'm thinking I might just try seeing how this looks. It might not work, but I thought I might try and cut around this piece and see if it would look alright on here, because it might be a bit I don't know how well it'll go. So let's just give this a try and cut it out. Right, so I haven't cut out all the detail of the roses or anything like that. I wanted the letter behind the image, and looks like she's reading the letter that's in the image. So it seemed to be an appropriate piece to put on the front. But it's just a case of how well it would sit. I'm going to take it under there a little bit. Sort of like that. I know the colour is kind of doesn't go completely with the background, but it does go with this. So I want to put something behind here, some lace, because it's too white. I'm thinking maybe some pink. I've got this piece. It's quite a big piece, I don't need it all. But I might cut some down. I haven't got a lot of it, but I wondered about either that part, well, that's quite pretty, just quite delicate behind there. So I might just cut a piece off and cut it in half and see which bit looks best. Just going to cut it there, I think. It's kind of random. I haven't planned any of this really, other than choosing the lace to go across the top and the image to go on the front, and even then I don't know how well that will work. So let's just put my pin back in. So this is I got some lace from, it's called the Lace Company. It's based in the UK. I've got a few big pieces, because sometimes you need a bigger piece, don't you? And then of course then you cut it down, don't you? So I'm thinking either that piece, so we've got that, just a delicate bit of pink. I don't think I want the really bright piece. That might go somewhere else though. Oh, having said that, I'm going to cut it in half. See which piece I prefer. I'll cut this top piece off. Summer seems to have returned to the UK today, or at least to our bit of it. I don't know that it's necessarily returned everywhere, but we've got a really beautiful day today, and I think we're in for maybe a week of lovely weather, which is rather nice. Could do with it really, because we've had a month of indifferent weather, should I say. It's not been cold or anything, but it's not been as nice as I would have liked. Certainly not been as sunny as I would have preferred. So I tuck that under there. Let's just lift that up. Put that there. How will that look on here? And then put this piece on here. Kind of like it. And then we have this piece, which is, I think I've got this back to front. Yes, I have, I think. Yeah, I think that's the front. Don't think it matters much. Can't really tell an awful lot, but maybe that can go there. Maybe we'll just put a piece of this over here. I'm just going to place a few pieces now. See how I like them. I've got a whole load pulled out. Don't know which ones to go for first. So I've got quite a few pieces that I bought from Rachel Bella Crafts. From there was a pack of French antique and vintage lace, and I think this was part of that. maybe on there. I want to just maybe have that hanging down a little bit. And this is another piece from that pack. I've got a smaller piece, I think. That go under there. Tuck that under and under there. It's a bit like doing a collage really, isn't it? But I'm just collaging with lace. I have done this kind of thing before, but not on a coloured background before. I did a couple of wedding journals several years ago, maybe 3 years ago, maybe longer. I can't remember, the time goes by so quick. And I really enjoyed making the covers, just completely lacy covers. So I don't want to lose the colour in the background. Don't want to lose that. Maybe that's a bit too much detail. Maybe I can put that here, because if this is plain, maybe that could go there. That one there. Tuck it all under. What else have I got? What to do, just a kind of a layer, and then I might put a few other extra bits, some little bits of trim or something, just to add some detail. Got a piece of, is that too thick? It's a bit thick really. It's pretty, but it's a bit thick, possibly. I've got this really pretty daisy lace. I mean, it's from something I bought in a charity shop, a top from a charity shop. Could cut a piece of that off. I like that. Just cut a lump of this. Whoops, don't want to cut into the other lace, do I? Just cutting a random piece because I'll tuck it under things and put things over the edges and stuff like that. Just gonna, oops, take that over here. I kind of like that. And might just take that little lump off there. Put this over the top there. And I quite like that. And what else have we got? We've got this really old doily. I'm wondering whether to put a piece of doily somewhere. I'll cut it in half maybe. Don't know how that'll go with everything else, but I want to have a variety of colours here. I don't want it all to be white or just all cream. At the same time, I don't want to lose the beautiful quilted piece either. I'm just trying to enhance it, not cover it up. I might just take a piece of this off. Oh, that wasn't very straight. So I still quite like that there. Now, do I want a piece of doily on the, just over that side? Okay. Not sure yet. It might work. It might not. What have we got? We've got some really lovely vintage. One of my last pieces of vintage lace that I bought quite a long while ago, and I've used it in a number of journals. probably used it in those, I'm sure I used it in those wedding journals that I did. But it's just so pretty. Thinking I might just have a piece across here. I need to cut. Oops. That's the trouble. I haven't pinned anything yet because I'm just trying to lay them on. And I'm just going to cut the most of the top piece off because I don't need that. Just have that along the bottom there. It's so pretty. Got this piece. This is another vintage piece, I think, from Rach and Bella. Not sure. It's a bit. I want the fabric underneath to still show through. So I don't want to put thick stuff on it. A piece of this is rather nice. Put that there. Yeah, I like that. Gives these pieces a nice finished edge. Okay. What do we want? Whoops. I need something across these two pieces as well. Something that will just tone down the pink a little bit, possibly. This is too big, I think. This is a huge piece. It's beautiful though. Ooh. Maybe I will have a piece of that. Just over here. Don't think I've used this. You know, sometimes I'm doing things and I think, well, I could do with a really big piece of lace for this, so I've ordered some and then I've not used them. Because every time I think about them I think, oh no, they're too big. But you can just cut them down, can't you? Just cut them down. So I'm going to cut these in half. How far shall I cut it down? Cut it about there. Okay, so we lift this up, lay this piece on. I do want it kind of going over this edge piece. I might have a piece going down, I'm not sure. So maybe I won't have it right up to that edge because it'd be quite nice to have just a piece going across this edge. So this is all on the outside, so whether we're going to want any on the inside, I'm not sure. This is a bit long. Maybe it is a little long. I'll just cut that there. Bring it down a bit. And then we've got our bit of doily. Just there. So this really ties in with the the image over here. It kind of brings that bit of more vintage colour in. So what I need is a bit more of that colour, don't I, just to make it a bit more cohesive. So what have I got here? I've got a few pieces of strips of lace, tiny pieces that I bought. I bought this little set at the retreat, but I don't think I want anything quite so narrow for this. This piece, so I need a little piece over here, and I have got this other piece, but I don't want the same again. Don't want that piece. Piece of this. No. That's going to cover that up too much. Okay, let's see what else have I got over here. Another piece from the lace company. It's very white. I think I don't want any more white. White. Okay, thought I brought out plenty of options, but I'm not so sure. I do have a few bits here. I've used most of these now. I do have this one, which might be quite good on here because it's more of the creamy ivory colour. And that might be good as a kind of filler. Got little butterflies on it. It's quite pretty. And I'm going to take off this little edge here. Right. So I want to put it under this bit of pink. Tuck it under this lace. And also tuck it under the bit of doily. Right, okay. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Tucking everything into each other. Yes. So there's a bit of a gap over here. And a bit of a gap here. So let's see what else I can find to fit those little spots. Right, I pulled out a few more laces on pieces of card. I'm not sure about that one. Needs a pin. Got this piece here. That might work quite nicely on there because you can still see the roses peeking through. Maybe just pull that down a fraction. Okay. And potentially this piece. How'd that look over here? It's a bit, it's not quite what I want there. I want a bit more contrast. Nope, not that one. Okay. Oh, I've got this bit of pink and netting. That'd be quite nice just to give it a... maybe I could just put that under here to give it like a pinkish tone to some of it. Almost invisible, but it would add a little more pink. I haven't got any blue on here, have I? No, I haven't. Did I pull out any blue? I really should have a bit of blue on here, shouldn't I? I know I've got blue on the fabric, but I need a bit of blue lace, I think. So it's a bit difficult to know what colour blue to bring in, but we have got more of a aqua-y blue in the fabric, so I have got my aqua lace here. Maybe that go. Maybe that would be a good one under there. It's going to go across the whole piece there. So maybe instead of this, I could have a piece of this, which I absolutely love, and I don't know where I got it. Maybe I'll try it to see how it looks, because it will bring in this colour too in the frame. Oops. Ooh, not got much left. It's one of my favourites. Where did I put the pin? Okay. Okay, let's just tuck that back under there where I had it. There. Now I'm rethinking the bit of pink netting now, because I've now gone for the blue. Put that down there. Okay. Oh, are we losing our roses now? Oh. I don't want to lose the roses. The blue's not working. Well, I could put the blue on the blue, because there's not much in the way of a pattern here. The roses are down here, which you can still see. So maybe a little piece of this up here would be a good idea. And we might lose this piece of pink, because we've got a reasonable amount of pink on here now. So that can go there, because we're not really losing a lot of pattern, because it's just a few branches. So I wanted to bring this colour into the laces. So there's that. So what did I have here? I had this piece here, didn't I? So let's put our bit of netting back, just a little bit of a pink, because it doesn't cover too much up, but it just gives a hint of pink right there. In fact, I might put it over a little bit more. And I wanted this on an angle kind of there. So I'm just going to pin this on, pin all of this on to see how it will look when it's folded. So I'll be back when I've pinned it all. Right, so as best I could, I have pinned it all on. There were a couple of spots that I felt needed something more. So here behind, on this corner here, I didn't have anything. So I pulled out this really lovely piece of, I don't know what it was a big piece of, it was like a fine net with this embroidery on that I bought when I was away, the week I went to my retreat. Didn't buy it there, bought it in a vintage shop. I think the same shop as I got this lace, actually. Can't even remember if it was in Malvern or one of the towns around there, because I visited a few. Anyway, it's a beautiful piece, and I thought it would still, you could still see the lovely roses underneath, but I thought it just required, just gave a little bit more of a finish to this corner, because we have lace everywhere, and I didn't want it heavily embellished, but I wanted it to be, just have that little softness behind the image there. So I'm happy with that piece. I don't know if I'm going to need lace along here, but I definitely thought it needed some lace on this edge. And I do have this piece, which is part of the Rach & Bella Crafts pack that I bought, that I've mentioned a few times, because I thought that would go nicely just to finish that edge there. So once I'll show you, I can now wrap it around and see how it looks, because it's not all going to fall off. So if we're going to go something like that, and like that, it'll kind of look like that. I'm not sure, once it's all filled up it might not go round so far. And then we'll have this piece of lace along this edge, which I think will give it a nice finish. Don't want to cover up the beautiful roses, but I think that will look rather yummy when it's done. So I think what I'll do, you've seen enough of me mess around with this today. So I shall do all the sewing off camera, because it'll probably take a fair while, because I have to be quite careful. I can't go quite as mad as I did when I did the snippet roll, when I just kind of went all over the place, because it will show on the inside, but I'll have to make sure I catch it all in. So that's something for me to do before the next video. So I'm going to set that aside for now, somewhere, and we'll just bring in the signatures, just to see if there's anything needing doing, any more needs doing in here. So I did, when I trimmed off those little bits of the vellum or the tracing paper that I'd printed on, I put this one, I think, on both of these pieces on the straw paper, because I thought it looked really pretty there, and on this side as well. I just thought that'd give it a little finish, rather make a change from the lace. I had an idea what I might try and do with this piece of fabric, but I'm not sure if I'm brave enough to do it on camera, because I've got, it really could do with being pinked, you know, with some pinking shears, but I don't have them. But what I do have is a roller cutter with a pinking blade. So again, I think that might be something I'll have to have a go at off camera, because I haven't got it all put together. I was just thinking about that this morning. I thought that would give it a nice edge. So that's going to go here. So I'm kind of thinking about the things I might need to do before I sew in these signatures, that's all. So that could do with being finished, but otherwise I don't think there's a lot. I don't know if I've got a lot of pages that I need to add into this journal. This isn't one, I think, with too many extra add-ins, just because I think it would make it too fat. I don't know if I did any on this side. I haven't really gone through the whole signature there just to check, have I? do I have any pieces that I feel like I need to add something to? This I think I'm going to have to glue down to make into pockets because it's just floating about too much, and this one, not sure how those are going to pan out right now. And this one, let's have a quick look. Do I have anything? I do want to put something along this edge. I definitely do. So I've still got all my bits of lace lurking around, so let's have a look. Those are lace bits of trim. Just wanted something along this edge really. I've got a few of these, so I don't want anything huge. How would this one look? It's very pretty. Let's take that off. So I think I could do with a bit of colour on here, couldn't we? That might be quite nice just along there. Sticking out just a little maybe. Not sure. Not sure now whether I want something that's going to be a little bit wider, because I'd want to cover that up. It's kind of the seam here. Have a little looky. No. Those won't go. There's a double up. Could I put two pieces on? Oh, what's up here? And these little pegs. Haven't really unravelled these to see what they're like, or even how long they are. I think I've got a fair bit there, and there's a nice little bit of fabric under there as well, which I would quite like to use. So I wonder, stick that there. Could I have a little bit along that edge sticking out, and then overlap it a touch with this piece? No, that would look a bit strange. What I'll do is I'll have this going along the edge here, and then I might put something next to it, but I'm not sure what yet. Because I do like this, and I don't often get to use it. It's very pretty, very delicate. Oh, sorry about that. A bit dry, as often is the case. Just taking this little edge off. Sometimes I don't really want that hard edge. Just want it to look soft. So I'm going to put that on, and then I want to put something else on there as well. But I'm not sure what yet. Right. Yeah, that's pretty. Now I had a bag of trims. I've got to see if there's anything in here that would go with that. So I've got this piece of ribbon, which is very pretty. Ooh, that might go. Got this piece. Ooh, it's not long enough. Let's have a look at this. Is that long enough? I've been wanting to use this for a while. I keep forgetting about it. It's just quite a pretty piece. A bit different, bit of script on it. I think I might make that work. I like that. Yep, I'm going to put that on there too. Didn't cut myself a very big piece there. I've got more of it. I just cut some pieces to take with me to the retreat, just to see, you know, just little bits, scraps of trim. But that piece was a bit short, really. But I didn't know what I might use it for, so I didn't want to cut too much of anything. Okay, let's put this piece, just trim that off the top. Whoops. I've had this roll of trim. It's got a bit of gold going through it. I don't know if you can see that, if it catches the light. It's got a gold thread running through it, which is rather nice. And it's kind of printed with a bit of script and looks like a postmark or something. If you think this is about letter writing and that kind of thing, that's not inappropriate. So there we are. So there we got a little bit of trim, bit of edging on that. Let's pull it across a little bit. It's covering up a bit too much of my pink. It's a bit wobbly. There. Just trim this bit off that's hanging down. Okay, so that piece, I think I'm happy that it's now looks a bit more finished. Yeah. And are we going to do something with this? I haven't decided. I really haven't. Because I don't know how much room I've got to add things. What have I got here? And I've got another. So one of these should have something added. I need to think about that one. So in the last little while, let's have a look at some of the ephemera pieces that might need finishing off. Right, so in here I have a box of all sorts. Pieces that I've made, pieces that come with the kit, and some decorative pieces. So this is the one I made as part of Roxy's weekly challenge, which I have sewn around, and as is often the case, my sewing machine is inventing its own stitch. So it's meant to be a zigzag, but it looks a bit more like a blanket stitch. I have a feeling I might have had the bobbin in the wrong way round. That might have been what's caused it. It looks actually better on the back than on the front. The front's looking bizarre, but I'm going to go with it. It's just a different stitch. And I realised I have used this image before. I've got another piece in here that I made quite a while ago, also I think part of Roxy's weekly challenge, and look, I've used her again, just a different size, but I just love this image, clearly. So these will need sewing around. There's a whole bunch of them that I think I want to sew around. I just did that one just because I wanted to finish it, but some of them need a little bit more on them. I'm going to need that, aren't I, because I need to see if there's any images I need. So this piece I made a long time ago. That is part something I did, I think, with Pam at the Paper Outpost. So I think the colours work quite well. It's not entirely in keeping, but it's close enough. And I thought if I put an image on here, that'll finish that off. This one is done. This one I think is done. This one is not. That needs something. So does this, and so does this. So we've got this piece that I think I made when I was away, and then these couple of journal cards. So they just need sewing around. And these just need a little something to bring in the... Look what this stuck to my hand. That came off one of the bits of lace, didn't it? Yes, I just wanted to add an image to this to bring in the theme. This was actually using the Rach & Bella Craft kit and a bit of napkin. I think I made it as one of my dipping in my to-do box videos, but it just needs something to finish it off. So, got those little doodads. That's too big. I might have a small image from Rach and Bella that would go on there. So I use it. A lot of these are the Ruby and Pearl EXO images of ladies, book club ladies. But I've got a few here at the back of smaller versions of the Rach and Bella Crafts kit. She gives you the images in different sizes. So I could have her. I could tear that down or cut it down. That might work. Or this one. Got quite a dark background. Maybe I can tear around her a bit. Her down there. Quite like her. Being very thoughtful while she's holding her pen and thinking what to write. She looks a little furtive. I'm not sure what she's up to. What else have we got? Got anything else that will fit? Not really. I think these are all the smaller ones. The others are going to be a bit too big. So I think I might just do something with her. I think the safest option to reduce her in size is to go around with these scissors. So if we can pop her there, perhaps I'll just put a little bit of something behind her. Why not? What about a piece of this doily? Okay. Pop that. Don't think I can just get... I just have to cut that little piece off. It's a bit difficult to tuck it inside. Just a little bit I can put inside. Put that on there like that. Put her on there like that. Although we do want to be able to put something in this. No, I don't think the doily is a good idea because it would mean I won't be able to get anything in that pocket. Maybe she's not such a good idea on there, because then I will want to put some small image, and she might be something I can tuck in there actually. Maybe I'll just put something small, more a flower or something, or a butterfly, just to finish that off, give it a little bit of finishing look, finishing touch on there. Have I got anything small? Too big. Maybe that would be nice. A bit too blue. Just a bit too blue. this little piece here. Trim it a bit better. And I think I'll put a little something behind it. Maybe even put this little tiny piece of, maybe put that there or something. Bit of book page behind it, but just keep it nice and flat. This looks like, I don't know, some sort of Cyrillic script. Well, it's interesting. Okay, so I have just nipped off these corners and inked around both pieces. Time has caught up with me again, so I won't be able to do any more after this. It just gets away from me. So I'll just glue these pieces on, and then we'll have to call it a day for today, just when I was getting into it. But I think we did some good work on the cover. That's kind of what I wanted. Well, it is pretty much as I had hoped it would go, I think. Happy with that. The hard part now is getting it all sewn on, so I will be doing that. Probably after I finished filming. There we are. Just a little bit of decoration on there. This is a Medieval Mirage little piece of, and you see how well it all goes together. And then it does like different these two different kits do go really well. And I am thinking I might just put this little piece on. Why not? Why not? A little piece I chopped off, but still can use it. Oops, a bit too much glue now. Just put it on that little corner. And put a little bit of extra glue underneath this corner. There we are. So that shouldn't impede anything going into this pocket now. But I do think it's quite a sweet little pocket, and I just feel it's just had a bit of a finishing touch added to it with far more glue than I needed. Just there. To leave that to dry. But yeah, that's it for today, and I've just got my cover over here ready to be stitched. So I'll be getting on with that, and I will see you very soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you're all not roasting too much and having some nice sunshine and enjoying your crafting. And I will see you soon. Bye for now.